Well, I suppose we're live.
Are we live?
We are. It's a very chilly Thursday evening. Shalom, Edby. What's up, Edby? Saw him at Men's Retreat this past weekend. We're all bundled up, sitting underneath a blankie on a chair on a porch. Hope you're staying warm. Yep, we are staying warm. Appreciate that.
There we go. Now I got it.
Wow. I can't even find my own video on my own channel.
There you
Hey,
go.
there it is. Look at that. Now I can see the chat as well. No, I don't want to watch this on TV. Thanks so much, phone. I am the TV. I feel like my hat looks ridiculous, or my hood looks ridiculous, rather. But it, keeps the warmth in.
I know. I need to go get my hat.
Do you want my hat?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right,
I
then.
got more hair than you.
You do have more hair than me.
At least on my head.
So Clay Williams said, when does this start? Define this. I don't know if you noticed, but it looks like SHTF Actual has been going on since about February of 2019. So that's about 2 years already. So Nick Rose says, I'm surprised the word blankie is in Bear's vocabulary. I have 3 children. I know the word blankie. Devin House, shalom, brother. How are you enjoying the ice storm, Garen? It's chilly.
Ice.
Yeah. I'm it's actually kind of frustrating because usually when the weather's like this, I like to go and do stuff like go do rescue missions and go get out and about, but there's really no good reason for anybody to be doing anything right now because my entire county is just a sheet of ice. So
Yeah, he was like ice skating earlier. He was like scooting, dancing on the ice in his boots. But it's slick.
TNT Ranch, what's going on? Shalom, Stalwart Peacekeeper. Got my 2 buckets today. Thanks, Bear. They're awesome. Appreciate that. T-Rex, what's up, man? Blue Coats Academy loves the green screen. Now listen, after about 5 minutes in, we will do the rules for the live stream. Give the room a couple minutes to fill up, then we'll talk about the rules. And then Shalom Liberty, Shalom Sanctified Supply Co. I know because of what's happening in Ukraine right now, lots of people have lots of questions. And I have been drinking from a fire hose today with OSINT, Open Source Intelligence. And my phone's been blowing up all day with people contacting me. My wife can attest to that.
Yeah. All day.
All day. So I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I think. We can have that conversation. But I already did a live stream this morning for the patrons on Patreon discussing a bit of what's going on. And I guarantee you on the brief tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about this as well. And so it's not my intention this evening to beat a dead horse for ratings. So we'll talk about it. But
Somebody thinks your ears are ringing.
Duskarn effect, shalom, brother. He will prepare and make ready a way as on time, God. As an on-time God. Yep, I agree. So, but other than that, we're chilling. It's cold. It's kind of an insular day. Like I said, I've been overwhelmed with contact today, and my brain is a little bit frazzled. But shalom, Jody Whipple. We decided to do the live stream anyway, just to touch base with y'all, our people, the Bear Nation. I was back and forth on whether or not we were going to do this today anyway. My wife can tell you that as well.
Yes.
And I was like, yep, I guess we're going to do it. So.
Said I'll join you for a little bit.
What do you think, Bear? We in for some shit? We'll talk about that. I guess we're about 5 minutes in, so we'll do the rules.
Whew, yeah. That wind. We need to scoot like 10 feet that way.
Just get under the blankie, babe.
Okay.
There you go. You're looking great. All right. Rules of the live stream. This is a PG-13 show. If you're offended by language, too bad. If you let your children watch this show, that's on you, not me. Rule 2, don't be a dick. If you act like a moron in the chat, the blue wrenches will banhammer you so fast your head will spin. Rule 3, no excessive swearing. So that means y'all in the chat, if it's not a word I say, you don't need to be saying it in the chat. So watch your F-bombs and your GDs, okay?
Vulgarity.
Yeah, no egregious vulgarity, all right? Rule 4, civil conversation is encouraged in the chat. Keyword here being civil, okay? Rule 5, moderators, blue wrenches, as long as people are being respectful in the chat, let them have a conversation. We don't need to outright ban somebody because they disagree with us, as long as they're being civil. If they're being disrespectful, then by all means, let them feel the full weight of the Bear Nation. Rule 5, put your questions in all caps. That gives you a better chance of me seeing it. If I see it and want to answer it, I will. If you ask the same question 14 times in all caps and I haven't answered it yet, that's probably an indicator that I don't want to answer it, okay? So getting back to rule 2, don't be a dick. Now, let's see. Rule 6, jerks will be banned after the first warning. This isn't a democracy, it's my porch. Rule 7, or rather, some tidbits for you. Check the prepper classroom for answers to your common prepper questions. How much food should I put in buckets? I got 50 videos on it. What kind of radio should I use? Got videos on that. How do I meet people for my Mac? Got videos on that, right? And so there's a wealth of information. There's over 4,000 Bear Independent videos in the last 4 years. Half of them, 2,000 of them, are free here on YouTube with the basic stuff you need to know or you need to use to evangelize to other people in the Prepper Classroom playlist here on YouTube. The other half of them are on Patreon, where for $5 a month, you will have access to more than 2,000 exclusive videos that have never seen the light of day here on YouTube. Okay? So check the Prepper Classroom for common questions. And then also, your promo code on YouTube is Bear Nation, BEAR Nation, at refugemedical.com. It gets you free, one word. It gets you free shipping on everything in the store. And I had a conversation with one of the VPs at North American Rescue yesterday. This was before Russia had declared war in Ukraine. I'm not saying this because I've just got to have these sales. If you know anything about Refuge Medical, you know that my modus operandi is not to extract capital. It's to save lives while in service to the Father's kingdom and experiencing the abundance of his provision and blessing. Mm-hmm. Supply chain was jacked up before yesterday. It's not going to get any better in the near future. And again, I had a conversation with a VP at North American Rescue yesterday, just trying to keep my stuff in stock. All right? So, if you're like, should I get a kit? Should I not get a kit? You do you. They may not be there to get. We're doing everything we can to keep the shelves stocked. And that's part of the challenge of being a small business owner in during, end times and global pandemics and war. So, with that, let's do the show.
Okay, Bear.
All right, good talk, guys. Sounds good, guys.
Oh, thanks, Bear. We love you so much, Bear.
I love you guys, too. What the hell's wrong with you? Why do you talk like that?
I don't know, Bear. Just can't help it.
All right, well, whatever. Let's see. Got any good questions? Do you guys get more ice or snow, and how do you deal differently? This year we've had more ice than snow.
Yeah.
And the difference between ice and snow is that you can go places and have fun outside when you have snow. When you have ice, you're just taking your life in your hands every time you open the front door.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me a question. Hang on.
They asked you a
Oh,
question.
gosh. I don't have phone gloves.
You don't have touch phone glove things.
Does Mrs. Bear handle the gardening and canning, or do you just purchase from local farmers? So both. There are there's one local farm in particular that I do my best to support. Like, they're just really good people. And they grow just about everything or get everything. So there's some things like peaches that they have connections with other local farmers in Georgia that they get loads of peaches, and so I'll go and buy peaches from them. Last year my tomato crop was crap, and so I ended up buying tomatoes from them. So it's kind of like a supplement. And then yes, I do handle most of the gardening. He helps me like prep it,
Yep.
and then I do the growing.
Somebody said, "What say you, Bear?" Question mark. About what? There's 900 people on here. Again, you can put your question in all caps. If I don't see it, I don't see it.
Right.
So, and understand for me on my end, the chat goes by this fast. What are your thoughts on battery chainsaws? What's up, Anthony? I owe you a response to your email that you sent recently, Anthony. With ATS, men's retreat, and everything else going on, I haven't had a chance to respond to it yet, but I've seen it. It's on my radar. I'll get back to you. Battery chainsaws. I have a video about chainsaw selection. Anthony, I know you're on Patreon. Just scroll back a couple of weeks and go watch that Patreon video about chainsaw selection. I'm not giving away Patreon info for free on YouTube, and I've got a lot of YouTube content around chainsaws as well. So
Somebody asked, "What's your thoughts on battery chainsaws?"
that's what I just answered.
Oh, okay.
That's Anthony Aiello.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
So lots of questions on Ukraine. Thoughts on Ukraine arming their citizens? Yeah, absolutely. I think that it just shows that how ludicrous it is for the government to have a monopoly on deadly force until the government is facing an existential threat, in which case they want everybody to have weapons so they can defend themselves. I also was talking about this on Patreon this morning. The long and short is you and your buddies with AKs don't mean shit when there's incoming missiles. Okay? That's the thing. And so how do you deal with something like that? That's overwhelming force. It's a threat indicator that should be part of your bug out plan. And when there's overwhelming force, you should leave. In fact, you should leave way before the imminent threat of overwhelming force arrives. Carrie Stennett, do you expect an imminent cyber attack since Biden imposed sanctions? Thanks for all you do. Yes, I do expect an imminent cyber attack. I think Biden is weak AF, and in his presidential speech today about the air quote crippling sanctions that are being issued against Russia and Russian oligarchs and their banks and their military bank and their sovereign national debt and blah, blah, blah. Biden reiterated that he told Putin that cyber attacks on critical infrastructure will be unacceptable. Yeah, because I really believe what he has to say. We're dealing with two completely different people right here. An 80-year-old man that doesn't know what day it is, and a 60-year-old man that will fight to the death to protect the sovereignty of his nation. Two completely different people here. So, yeah, I absolutely expect cyber attacks. And that comes down to basic stuff. You should have money, physical money you can lay your hands on. I've told you guys for as long as I've been on the internet, I don't trust crypto and I don't trust banks. And I've kind of wanted to, and I'm trying not to be a facetious asshole, but I've kind of wanted to, my wife was saying, you should just make a sign. Just hang a cardboard sign behind my head saying, I fucking told you so. I've been saying for months, Russia's going to get Ukraine. They're getting Ukraine. I've been saying once I saw the way that they were starting to stack their BTGs, their battalion tactical groups, they're going to take all of it. They did. I've been saying for months that they're going to use maritime operations and combined arms. They did. I've been saying all this for months, and I know a lot of y'all have been paying attention, and that's encouraging, but a lot of y'all were like, no, they're not going to do that. They would never. It's just posturing. Russia does, it's the art of war. No, you don't bring your toys to the sandbox and then pack them up and go home without playing them first, okay? Do you think NATO will do anything? I think NATO is going to engage in the art of air quote crippling sanctions for now, as long as the conflict is confined to Ukraine. The moment it spills into sovereign NATO territory, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Romania, not Belarus, Poland. The moment that happens, it is on. And so somebody earlier said, should we be worried or should we just be chill? I'm chill, okay? I'm chill. We're chill. And that's part of, I guess, the frustration that I've had with the excessive amount of contact that I've received today. I can hold many different concepts in my mind at the same time. So let's talk about some of those concepts. On the one hand, I don't give a flying fuck about Ukraine. On the other hand, I'm deeply mournful for the people, the good people that are losing their lives there. On the third hand, the United States has no reason to be involved in Ukraine at all, and Russia does make some legitimate claims as to why they're involved in Ukraine. On the fourth hand, it's absolutely fascinating to see combined warfare taking place in 2022 using conventional means, guns, tanks, bombs, and planes, and a coordinated effort of shock and awe. On the fifth hand, how does this dovetail into my threat indicators here in eastern Oklahoma? So I feel multiple different ways about the same thing. I don't think currently, as it stands, Ukraine and the Ukrainian situation is a direct threat to the American way of life. That could change at any moment. I don't think because of where I live that if this thing goes hot globally, that I'm going to be directly affected by it anytime soon. Indirectly affected is a whole nother story, because now you're talking about disruption of service, supply chain issues, banking, right? Indirectly affected. But tomorrow morning, can I take a shit, wet my ass, and make a pot of coffee, whether or not we're at war in Ukraine or with Ukraine? Yup. Next Tuesday, does it matter to me whether or not the banking system has been irreparably destroyed? Not even a little bit. Do I care if the stock market crashes? No. What I really care about, if I'm being completely frank, is will all the shit that I ordered show up on the UPS truck so that I can continue to clean and organize my barn with all the tactical gear that's in it? I care about that. I care about, do I get to continue to operate my businesses in a way that allows the people that I love to earn a living and provide first aid kits to people, good people like y'all, so that lives can be saved? I care about that. Everything else, I really don't care.
No.
But I also think it's fascinating in real time to watch it unfurl, to watch it unfold, to see the coordinated combined arms efforts of Russia. I mean, this is large-scale conventional warfare that we haven't seen since World War II. And it's a beautiful thing, if you'll allow me that. Is it tragic? Yes. Is it scary? Yes. Is Putin an existential threat to the United States of America? Maybe. Is Biden weak AF? Absolutely. But to see it unfold the way that it's unfolding, it's textbook. And that's part of what we were talking about on Patreon this morning, is that there are so many lessons to be learned from this for people who are paying attention. Alan Hale said, "Hey Bear, a few weeks ago I asked you in Twitch about struggles and conviction. Y'all gave me beautiful answers, which led me to open my Bible. The page I opened to turned out to be Galatians 5. Roger that. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate the $10 bill, sir."
Well, somebody, like, as far as, like, what you care about, somebody asked a while back, what specifically are you praying about right now?
What specifically am I praying about? Father Yah, give me the strength that I need to be the man that you created me to be, to lead my people through whatever may come. In Yeshua's name, amen. that is my daily prayer, in addition to thanks for all of the fabulous provision and blessing he has bestowed upon me. And some of y'all know, many of y'all don't know, but we just got back from a 4-day weekend where 20 dead men were made alive, cleansed in the water, gave their lives to Messiah. And 20 out of 60 men got baptized. And it was an incredibly spiritually profitable weekend for myself and everybody else who was there. And so in light of that, oh no, this Ukrainian thing, it's really difficult for me to get spun around the axles on all this shit that's happening half a world away. Now, it doesn't mean it's not important, but to me, it's important because I want to learn lessons from it, and I want to observe it clinically, scientifically, and I want to see how that could eventually spin out of control into something that directly affects me. Because right now, at best, it indirectly affects me. So, but you think about things that like really matter. Like, yeah, are you square with the Father by the blood of his Son? If the answer to that is no, why do you care what's happening in Ukraine right now? You're already dead. You're already dead. You're dead, bro. So who cares? Right? The whole point of prepping is to perpetuate normalcy for the people that we love. Your normal sucks if you're already dead. You're a zombie. You're the walking dead. So you got to fix that first. And the fact that we were blessed by the creator of the universe to be able to do something as impactful as that this past weekend is not at all lost on me, especially in context of what's going on, half a world away right now. I also do not believe that Ukraine is the bait and switch to get everybody looking at Eastern Europe so that China can do what it wants to do in Taiwan. It may be, and I'm willing to be wrong, but I don't think it's going to go down that way. So.
Yeah, Chad, that's all ice. We just got ice. We didn't get any snow.
Yeah, it's not snow. It's ice.
It wasn't even sleet. It was just little icy pellets. And then what's the thunder called?
Thunder sleet.
Thunder sleet.
Thunder sleet.
Yes. So Oklahoma has thunder sleet. And it was quite the odd experience.
Scott Sparks said, I've been hearing that Russia is referenced in the book of Daniel. Thoughts? You're talking about Gog and Magog. Well, let me tell you something else in regard to that. There's a lot of people that say we're living in end times. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. I don't know. I've always said my clear as day indicator on that is the two witnesses preaching uninterrupted from the Temple Mount, spitting literal fire from their mouths in Jerusalem. When that happens, it'll be absolutely undeniable. We won't have to wonder where we are on the timeline anymore. That being said, the Yahudim, the Jews, as a lot of people like to call it, the Hebrews, if you will, have been counting the days biblically in the Bible since the birth of Adam. And so it might be the Roman year on the Julian calendar, 2022 right now, but it is the Jewish Hebraic year of 5,782 currently. And so if a day is 1,000 years unto the Lord, and vice versa, as we're instructed in the word, then that means that Mashiach, Messiah, should be returning right around the year 6,000, which is 218 years away. Now, one could make the argument, and perhaps rightfully so, that the days have been shortened so that the very elect won't be deceived. The elect being those of us that If you're reading the book of Revelation and the book of Peter, and if you're paying attention to all the epistles that Shaul of Tarsus wrote, aka the Apostle Paul, and you've read the book of James and Titus and blah, 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 then you understand the fullness of understanding, which is a testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, and a keeping of the commands, all of which is prophesied. It starts in Deuteronomy 30, and it goes all the way to 7 verses before the end of Revelation. And so, and as a brief caveat, I love it when people like to try and argue Bible shit with me and they've never read their Bibles or they don't read it cover to cover. In which case, save your breath or save your thumbs. I'm not interested in rebukes from air quote brothers that haven't read the word. Okay? Okay. Now, so here's the deal. If the days have been shortened so that even the very elect shall not be deceived, then it's plausible that Yeshua comes back before the year 6000, Jewish year, from Adam till today. But shortened by how much? 2 years, 10 years, or 218 years? Because if it's 218 years, then that puts us possibly in end times currently. But otherwise, we're 218 years away from the completion of 6,000 biblical years, which represents 6 days, which the 7th day is the Shabbat, the day of rest, which represents the millennial kingdom where Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, reigns as high priest and king here on earth for that 1,000-year period. We're not there yet. I don't see anybody walking around that meets the definition of Mashiach. But I also don't see actual trials and tribulations. I see, frankly, a bunch of spoiled bitches whining about stuff that's perceived to be trials and tribulations. We're talking about, Yeshua says, I come not to bring, what does he say? Not to bring unity, but a sword, right? It'll be brother against father, against mother, against son, against friend, against neighbor, against, yeah. That ain't happening. That's not happening right now. Have your neighbors tried to kill you today because of your belief in Messiah? If no, then maybe we're not in end times yet. And again, maybe I'm wrong. We might be marching up to the line of end times. It's entirely possible that we're marching up to the line of end times. But as far as tribulation, you're going to call this the Great Tribulation? I'm talking to you on an iPhone.
Yeah.
On the internet. From halfway around the world for some of y'all. If this is what the Great Tribulation looks like, somebody needs to talk to John the Revelator and go, dude, you exaggerated some shit. Like a lot. You exaggerated a lot of shit. So, all that being said, is Russia mentioned in the Bible? Maybe if you're talking about Gog and Magog, it's possible, but the timeline, if we're, and by the way, I find this interesting, how many New Testament Bible-believing Sunday church-going Christians are now looking into the Old Testament to try and understand prophecy without having read the Old Testament and understanding what the prophecies refer to. Yeah. It's not a Cliff Notes. It's not a cheat sheet. You can't tap your buddy on the shoulder and ask for the answers. You got to do the homework yourself, homie. Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't think we're currently in the grips of end times. We might be marching up to it, but if we are, that phrase of even the day shall be shortened so that the very elect shall not be deceived, they've been significantly shortened. We're talking over 20% shortened at this point, because we're 218 years out from the year 6000 currently. And if that's and listen, Yah can do whatever he wants to do. The Father is in charge of all this shit. He can do whatever he wants to do. Neil Weller. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate you. But as of right now, we're the cart is 218 years before the horse currently. So what did that say? That $10 one? I've always read the word as the history of man and not to rebuke anyone, adaptive poetry. What are your thoughts, Bear? Also, thank you for reading the word. I have a hard time due to dyslexia. I think the word, I was talking about this weekend, is the greatest love story ever told between the Father and his creation. If you're, and again, this is not me shilling for Patreon, but if you're on Patreon, go back 2 days and watch the 90-minute, dare I say, sermon that I delivered called The Man of Elohim. Answer some very basic questions. Why are we here? What is the purpose of man? And how are we supposed to conduct ourselves as men of Elohim, as men of God? And gosh dang, talk about like, is the Holy Spirit a real thing? I lost all of my notes for that. And I was supposed to speak at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 2:45, the Spirit was like, hey, get your legal pad and start scribbling. And I scribbled 2 pages worth of chapter and verse for 10 minutes, and then went inside and was blessed to be able to speak to the men and share with them. And with 5 minutes to spare, I ended up with 2 pages of notes downloaded into my brain from the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. So, you know, what do I think the Bible is? It's the user manual for people. And it's the greatest love story ever told between the creator of the universe and you. And you. He made you for a reason. You're not an accident. It's not an accident that you're here. It's not an accident that you are on the face of the earth. The Father created you for a reason and seeks to partner with you so that you can fulfill the role that he gave you, which is to rule and subdue as a nation of kings and priests. But so many of you have been spoon-fed so much milk bullshit by these polo-wearing beta male effeminate pussy pastors that you don't even know why you're on earth to begin with, other than to, you know, don't sin, do good works. Shut up with that horse shit. That's not at all what the word says. So, what else we got?
Amen.
You know, and I'll say one more thing. While we were there doing that, my wife was here taking care of sheep. And I said, honey, you are a badass shepherdess. And she wrote me back and she said, you are a badass head. And you know, first of all, how good that made me feel. It made me feel great. Built me up, right? Second of all, praise Yah, that's my job. Headship, leadership, stewardship. That's my job. And there's so many, you know, I have an epic rant in my head that I've yet to engage in because it would literally be the only reason I would do it at this point is to run my mouth. And John chapter 2 says, let your words be the words of Elohim. I'm sorry. 2 John chapter 2. Let your words be the words of Elohim and your deeds be the works of Elohim, right? And so I've not engaged in this epic rant, but gosh dang, it's about men that refuse to take responsibility. And how ashamed you ought to be that your wives are emailing me, asking me as your wife how they can get you to take leadership in your home. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves that your wife has to email some guy from the internet
Very true story.
to
We
ask
get this a lot.
to ask how to motivate you so that you will step up into your role, whether you believe in the creator of the universe or not, your role for headship, leadership, and stewardship.
Nope.
Not my job. My job is not to steward your wife. That's your job. But your wife is emailing me, asking me these questions. Gosh dang, homie, what does that say about how your household is run? So, what else we got, sweetheart?
That shit really happens. Wow. Yes. It really happens.
Every damn day. Every damn day. And I understand for the ladies that they are wanting their husband to lead.
That. Right.
Go ahead, you hit it.
Well, women, we want that security. We want that person that's going to lead, that we can put trust and put faith into, that they aren't going to take us in the wrong direction. And that's what it's about. That's what being a husband is you're leading your household. You're directing the path that your family is going. And the part of the wife is to help your husband do that. You motivate them, you support them so that they have that strength and ability to go out and do.
See, your wife is your wise counsel, but also your weaker vessel. Okay? And so, something we've been talking a lot about here a lot lately. Counsel, right? Wise counsel. She's smart, and she's your counsel, right? If you had an attorney, that's your counsel. You paid them money specifically to talk to them. You're going to listen to what they have to say. Well, the Father has blessed you with a wife. Why are you not listening to what she has to say? Balanced by, I don't have to agree with everything she says.
No.
And we oftentimes do things where she feels we should do A, I feel we should do B, and we do B. But sometimes she feels we should do A, I feel we should do B, and we do A because of her wise counsel. Or sometimes she's A, I'm B, and we end up doing C because she's my wise counsel. But she's also my weaker vessel. That's biblical. That doesn't mean she's a weak woman, because she's actually a very strong, badass woman. And that means that I need to be much stronger than perhaps I would want to be, right? That it's easy to be, because the Father has blessed me with one of his badass daughters that it is my job to take care of.
That's a good point, because I am a very strong woman. I'm very handy. I'm very, independent. And so it takes one hell of a man
to lead you,
to be able to lead me.
And that's the thing. If you find yourself with a badass woman, praise Yah, you got a badass woman. It's not her job to run shit. That's your job. That means you need to step up and be the badass man that you were created to be, to provide provision, protection, and blessing, what we call headship or a covering to your wife. And by the way, the Mishpatim Torah portion, Exodus 21, your wife can leave you blamelessly. Leave you if you fail to provide to her her food, her covering, or her marital rights. So, covering is provision, protection, and blessing. It's what we call a headship. And if you fail to provide that, your wife can walk out on your lame, weak, non-confrontational ass blameless per the Torah. And so I guess most of y'all out there that are having your wives email me wanting to know how to fix you should be thankful that your wives are righteous enough that they haven't just packed their shit and left yet, because you refuse to step up and be the man that the Father has called you to be. And if he didn't think you were capable of it, he wouldn't have given you that badass woman in the first place. So, rant over. And I'm telling you, that's like 9% of how hard I want to go on that subject. I mean, like, for real. But, yeah. What else we got?
And let's see. In what way do you believe women are weaker other than physically?
So
we are very emotional creatures.
I was just going to say emotionally.
Yeah. And I, for one, am a very emotional person. I also have a sense of balance about me. So even though I tend to react emotionally, I'm able to see both sides.
Just go Google wife weaker vessel.
But we're emotional.
And let's make this biblical, all right? Let's make this biblical. At the end of an age, I will be held accountable for how well I led my wife and my children. How well I led my house in righteousness, because whether you like it or not, you are the priest of your home and I am the priest of my home. Mm-hmm. And so I will be held accountable by the creator of the universe on how well I did that. She will not. She is not held accountable for how she led me. Mm-hmm. I am held accountable for how I led her. And so that makes me have to be the stronger vessel, because the accountability is on me, not on her. And again, it doesn't mean that she's like weak, like she's a mess, that she can't do stuff, that she can't be a part of what we have going on. It means de facto, because of the accountability and the responsibility that's put on me, I have to be strong enough for the both of us because I am responsible for the both of us. She's not. She's under my covering. I'm not under her covering. And I'm telling you, all you weak ass bitches out there listening to this right now, and I mean men, you weak ass bitches that have put yourself under your wife's covering, you need to fix that. She's under your covering, not the other way around. That's biblical. That's how that works. And it doesn't mean that we don't work together. We literally work together. We have literally worked together since the day we got together. We have built empires together. We have gone through some serious shit together. But at the end of the day, I stand in judgment for how well she was led. She does not stand in judgment for how well I was led. Hopefully that makes sense to some of y'all. And if it does, do more research. And if it doesn't, oh well. What else we got?
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes a dream work. Hey, you've probably heard it said, there's no I in team. That's wrong. The I's in the a-hole.
And there is. There's an I in the a-hole.
It's true.
Yeah. I didn't get it at first. And I literally, somebody was like,
You had to draw
I
it
think
out.
Renee was like, okay, you make an A and there's an I in there. I was like,
Oh, I get it now.
now I get it.
All right, what else we got? Jody Whipple, shalom, brother. What if your wife rebels and refuses your leadership? Then you don't have a wife. You have a whore or a harlot who's wanting the covering of a wife. Submission is just as biblical as headship is. And there's only two women that have access. Well, there's three women that have access to the husband. One's the harlot, one's the wife, and one's the concubine. And I would say your wife needs to think about which one of those she is. The harlot is in an unrighteous situation. The concubine is a righteous situation, but she has no inheritance. The wife, she has access to the husband and an inheritance and is the wise counsel. And it's all about...
Well, a lot of people have a hard time with it because they think of it as like 1950s.
Yeah, get your barefooted and pregnant
Right.
ass in the kitchen and make me some dinner.
Right. And that's not what it is. And especially in today's day, like we've talked about this, the role of a woman has been, I don't know, it's not a word, but like manized. Like women.
It's become masculine.
It's become masculine. Like women.
Manized.
Manized. Not mayonnaise. Manized. But that's how women see themselves, that they have to be equal to a man. And that's not how that relationship is supposed to work. Yes, you're equals, but he's over you. Like,
And I am responsible for you,
yes.
is what that comes down to. And sometimes we have to do stuff that you don't agree with,
Yes.
but you respect my leadership and you go, all right, I don't like
bite
it, but
my
we're going to
tongue
do
and
it.
I say, okay. Like,
And sometimes, and this is addressed by Shaul, the Apostle Paul in the New Testament. How do you know, how do you know, a woman, that your righteousness will not win a husband? Sometimes, because of how badass and righteous you are, you're like, babe, all right, I respect you. I disagree with you, but I respect you. But I really think we need to do this way. Or you really need to take a second look at this. I'm like, all right, I'll pump the brakes and go, okay. Yeah, let me look at this. Okay. Now, somebody said, where is it? Tyler Walag or Walag. Bear, do you believe in psychic mediums? Well, go read 2 Samuel, I believe it is. 1 Samuel. When King Saul, Shaul, goes to a medium and calls up, which prophet is it? Is it the prophet Nathan? And Nathan's pissed He's like, Shaul, why did you call me? I was resting in the underworld. And he's like, shit, I just had to ask some questions. So yeah, it's like, do those powers exist? Absolutely. Are we supposed to have anything to do with them? No. It's commanded in the Torah, you shall not allow a witch to live. Yeah, witches don't get stitches. Witches get stoned to death at the rock pile outside the camp. So, and here's the thing, like the Torah is very cut and dry on that stuff, as it should be, because some things are allowable, some things are not. But when you play with stuff like that, you're opening doors that are incredibly difficult to close. And I'm telling you, you do not have the inherent power inside of you to close it. And if you don't have a personal relationship with your Redeemer, with Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, you're not going to have the power inherent in you to close those doors. And if you do have a relationship with him, it begs the question of why are you opening those doors in the first place? How do I know? I'm covered in satanic tattoos. I played drums in metal bands for a decade. If it's bad for you, I've done it. If it's bad for somebody else, I've probably done it. I have whored around with all types of false religions. I've done all types of bad shit. I've called on demons. I've cast spells. I've done all of that. And I've opened so many doors that I couldn't close until one night I was literally attacked in a demonic attack. And I'm laying there screaming the name of Messiah in my head. And it was the only thing that kept me from dying. So, do not mess with that shit. It's not allowable per Torah, and there's a really good reason it's not allowable per Torah. Not one more inch. I have a $500 HSA account. Do you suggest a bare minimum and an SOB kit or the adventure kit? I already have a Bear Factory 3.0 and the gauze bucket. I would get an adventure kit for sure.
See, I told you.
Yep, I would get an adventure kit for sure. And if you got a couple bucks left over, get a few more tourniquets and pressure dressings. And some packing gauze, like compressed gauze. That's what I would do for sure. Now, I love the bare minimum. The bare minimum was the second kit I ever created. I absolutely love it. It's an awesome kit. But if you already have a bare fact, the bare minimum does what the bare fact does, just in a smaller footprint. And it's like the perfect plate carrier kit. Like, it's just perfect for that.
Right. Well, between those kits, they still have roughly the same components, whereas the adventure kit is going to offer you more capability outside of tourniquet, chest seals, compressed gauze. Like
the adventure kit is band-aids, bullet holes, and broken bones.
Right.
It's got everything from my kids skinned their knee riding their bike to our car just blew up, and that's literal. God is dead. Logan Holder. So are you.
Yeah.
Peace, bitch. What's up, Travis Fleming? Hey, man, I've been rocking that bear knife that you've made. That you made me. Well, the second one you made me.
Soon?
We're getting more bear knives soon. Nice. We weren't going to talk about it, but I guess we're talking about it now.
Well, I just mentioned it.
What is your favorite product that you wish you had the capability to mass produce to donate to our soldiers? Oh, that's a great question. To donate to our soldiers, well, I'm very hardcore on working with the Marine Corps to adopt the bare minimum. It exceeds the U.S. military IFAC in capability. It's the same size as a standard IFAC pouch. It has everything you need and nothing you don't. I absolutely love the bare minimum. The SOB is also an excellent kit. But the SOB, currently, the way the inner pouch is designed, does not lend itself to care under fire. You can use it. But that pouch, it has everything you need in it, but the pouch doesn't just blow right open like the bare minimum or the bare fact does. And so, will it include crayons? Yes, if it's in Marpat, don't tell anybody, but if you order Marpat, you get crayons with your kit. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, if I could, every U.S. soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine would be issued a bare minimum. And I'm working on that with the Marines.
Yeah.
So.
It's on the list.
Yep.
Can I address something real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. So a lot of people, we have gotten a lot of emails, and we have 1.3 thousand people on here. So I figured some of y'all have probably bought t-shirts. There is a delay in shipping the shirts. Number one, they were pre-order. So Sanctified Supply Co. is the ones that are pressing and fulfilling these orders for us. And as many of you know, it's a two-man team, Jerry and Lucia. So these were pre-order when you bought. They are working their hardest to press and ship shirts, but we have had a ton.
You broke our website on the
Yes.
first day. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
And we're talking close to 1,000 shirts for 2 people to press. So, we are thinking it is probably going to be sometime mid-end March before all of these orders have been shipped out. So please just have some patience. We're going to get your t-shirt orders to you. I promise. And thank you. Thank you for all the support. You guys are awesome. And yes.
I have 4 more days to order.
And you have 4 more days to order. Yes.
At the Bear Independent Store, not
At the Bear
Refuge.
Independent Store.
Number 1 searched term at Refuge is
know.
ungovernable.
Refuge Medical's number 1 search term has been the ungovernable t-shirt. And
Somebody said, Backwoods Basson said, Bear, do a pocket dump. Don't be afraid.
oh gosh.
This is not staged. And you're very short right now. So, pocket dump. All right. How's this? That's a little better. Gloves. Not staged. Gloves. Matches. Zippo. Fuel tab. Chainsaw scrunch. Bic lighter. Maps. Key that goes to a thing. Actually, it goes to a place. Bug out plan A. Key that goes to a place. Nothing. SOG folder. Got that from my mother-in-law. And again, not staged. You just layer your gear in systems. Now, this paperwork, pen, lighter. Fire's kind of a big thing. Oh, I forgot in the bottom of this pocket, soft T tourniquet. In this pocket, soft T tourniquet. Also in that pocket, reload for a Glock. In this pocket, lighter and cigar cutter. Oh, and a small carabiner stuck to that pocket as well for reasons. On the belt line, Glock. Also on the belt line, 2 more Glock mags. These are the 19-round Glock 19X loaded with 147 grain jacketed hollow points. Shot in the right arm, go. Don't even start that shit. You know that I can do it.
Nope. It's too cold.
Then hold on. Left cami pocket. Left cami pocket. Pocket. And the pocket kit. And cat tourniquet. Hold on. That's the left cami pocket. How about the right cami pocket? And am I staging this? Was I like, hey, I'm going to do a live stream. I should put on my cool guy gear?
No.
No.
No, this is just...
This is everyday life.
Yeah, this
Right.
is why he weighs himself naked.
That's right. Right cami pocket. I have a soft tee with a roll of paracord around it. Soft tee tourniquet. And another cat tourniquet. I have 4 tourniquets on me. I have my keys.
Your EDC?
What's that?
Somebody's asking if you
Yes,
ever weighed
18
your
pounds. My EDC weighs 18 pounds. 4 tourniquets. A
Somebody asked.
Ontario Knife Company Rat 5 straight blade. A folder that our friend Jimmy, aka William from Kentucky, gave me as well. Little folding knife right here. And my keys, my cell phone, and let's see, back pockets, wallet. So, yeah, I'd say fairly comprehensive EDC. That's the nice thing about winter. Guys, if I throw a PMAG in my back pocket, I'm basically wearing a war belt. So, who's talking shit now?
Somebody said they wanted to see your calves. Are they the size of tree trunks?
Absolutely.
They are. Your calves are like the size of my thigh, probably.
I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah.
You want to see if you want to see my calves, go watch the real SHTF threat video. It's 1 minute long that I put up a couple weeks ago. So, you see my calves in that. Let's see, what else? What else? EDC, submission, the word, Ukraine. Stop shooting Bear in the right arm. He's overprepared. Yeah, that's right, Charlton James. Florida man prepper. My nephew is my EDC. I just keep his super cute ass strapped to my chest. Weapon of mass distraction.
Bear only fans coming soon.
Negative. Any ETA on the canine kits? We'll be working on getting them hopefully in the store next week. This winter storm has not helped things.
Yeah.
So we'll see. How tall are you, Bear? I'm 6 foot tall. I get all the time. People are like, I thought you'd be bigger. I'm like, no, I tell you fools on the internet all the time, I'm 6 foot tall. Mm-hmm. I'm just 6 foot tall, 3 foot wide, and lift heavy things. So. By the way, keep your lighters inside of your outside layer because cold lighters, really cold lighters, they don't light.
They don't light.
But warm lighters,
yeah,
do light.
You can blow in them and they'll.
See what else we got.
Does it bear shit in the woods?
All the time.
Yes, he does. I asked him that this morning. Oh, Sarah, you didn't have to delete that.
Oh, Jacob Israel is here. Bear, how heavy you lift? 465 on the bench. And back when I was getting into it, I had a 960 leg press.
Can you do backflips? Hell no.
All the time. I do backflips all the time. That's how I get out of bed in the morning. Just jump right up out of bed, do a backflip, land on the ground, do a split, sing a little soprano, go to the bathroom, take a shit, start my day.
Do we still put tape-wrapped lighters in the IFAC?
In the IFAC? When did we put tape wrapped?
Didn't the first one have them?
No.
No?
Nope. I put them in my kits.
Oh. I thought the first one.
What's up, Nels Mohawk? 460 bench. Nah, let's see. All right, I'll bring you to the gym next time. It's a lot like when people are like, nah, Bear can't play drums. Oh, shit, Bear can play drums. Nah, Bear can't shoot. Oh, shit, Bear can shoot. Nah, Bear doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, shit, Bear knows what he's talking about. Age, doo-doo brown, none of your business. Old enough to know better, young enough not to care.
Have you ever set your beard on fire? With
Not on fire, but I've smelled some burning hair on a couple of occasions. So now now I leg press skid steers. Yep. Mm-hmm. Break 2 toothpicks under your big gas button and tape it up. Sell your leg press to skid steer. Exactly. Looking for radios, including ham radios. Recommendations. No. I don't talk about commo overly much. I've got a video on it in the prepper classroom. You could check that out. And I just shot a slightly updated video for Patreon that'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks about commo. But in short, no. And most of y'all, your ComSec is horrendous. And you're like, I use this radio on this frequency with this antenna, and it can go this far. And I like to talk about these things. And my call sign is this, and I do this. And this radio is the best because I can use it this way. And I have 5 of these, and I have extra charges. And I was like, thank you for telling me all of that extremely relevant intelligence that I needed to pin you on a map somewhere. Great job. Super appreciated. So, in short, no. What else we got?
Where can somebody buy a warm beanie like we're wearing?
These came off of Bezos's 3rd yacht.
Yeah.
And their Condor brand. Condor's airsoft gear. Well, we're apparently really good at airsoft then.
Yes. I mean, I think so.
What skill sets would constitute a penny, nickel, and a dime? It's not skills. It's heart set and buy-in. How involved are they? You stop thinking about skills. Skills are important, but they're not nearly as important as buy-in. I don't want a super skilled person that doesn't want to be there and is a threat to everybody else while they're there. That's a waste of time. That's delusional, I'm gonna write a prepper novel shit. It's not about skills. Skills are important. You do need training. You have to know how to do the stuff. But when we are looking at bringing people on board, we do not recruit first on skills. It's a consideration for sure. But again, we're talking about pressing skid steers, right? The guy that handed me the Cuban cigar through the skid steer window when I was leg pressing that skid steer, Special Forces 18 Delta medic. Good guy. His name's Reed. But he and I are on completely different planets when it comes to heart set and mindset. He has awesome skills. You know, in any prepper novel, he would be the guy that I would recruit right now. Hey man, you're a cool guy, we're a cool guy, we should do cool shit together. Nope, but in reality, the fact of the matter is we're very rarely, hopefully, gonna need his skills. And we are not aligned, ideologically, theologically aligned on the day-to-day stuff. And so now I've got an interloper in the camp. I've got somebody that doesn't want to be here who's here. I got somebody that has a different definition of the ultimate arbiter of truth than I do. I've got somebody that doesn't believe and think and feel the way that I do. Negative. And so when we're quantifying pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, it's buy-in. How involved are they? How involved do they want to be? How much do they contribute? And not monetarily, but with their time and their efforts. You can have a very unskilled quarter, and you can have an incredibly skilled nickel. It's about their heart set more than their skill set.
Did you see Danny O'Keefe's question?
I did not see Danny O'Keefe's question.
Donnie O'Keefe, sorry.
Donnie O'Keefe. What did old Donnie say?
He said, what is your favorite thing about Hami, and what drew you towards her as you were looking for the one to do life with?
My favorite thing about Harmony is she doesn't take any shit, least of all from me. Getting back to you whiny little bitches with your wives writing in to me asking questions about how they can get their husbands to be stronger men. How about you live up to the expectation that the Father has given you by stewarding the woman that he's blessed you with? So I'm a better man because of the woman that she is. And that's like bar none. And we have both grown in our relationship, but she has. I wouldn't say forced. She hasn't forced me to grow. But if I was going to stay with her and be her covering, I have been forced to grow. To be the person I needed to be to provide not just an adequate, but I was going to say a bad word, a freaking good covering, right? So, yeah, my favorite thing about her is she doesn't take any shit. least of all from me. And what drew me to her, I can tell you the moment I laid eyes on her, where it was, which direction the wind was blowing, how high the flag was on the flagpole, where the sun was, where people were standing. Time literally stopped the first time I laid eyes on my wife. And I knew. I just knew. I was like, yep, there she is. 9 days later, I said, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm in love with you. And her response was, oh, thank God I'm in love with you too. And I said, cool, let's do this thing. And we have been attacking life as a team ever since. And so, and again, like, she doesn't take any shit. So there's a key feature of highly successful people that y'all should pay attention to, and it's called speed of implementation. High speed of implementation is a signifier of highly successful people. And that's why it frustrates me so much when people get caught up in paralysis by analysis, because you're sitting around waiting for it to be perfect, and it's never gonna be. It's never gonna be perfect. But it could be damn good. It could be good enough. And you're forsaking damn good in actuality for perfect in theory. Life is not perfect, but it can be damn good. And so, high speed of implementation, we both have that. Sometimes to our detriment, because we can get so much stuff going on at the same time. It's like we very highly speeded and implemented a whole bunch of shit into existence. And now the other mantra of highly successful people is finish strong. And sometimes I have to remind myself, often I have to remind myself, finish strong. This comes back to, if you take an oath, let your yes be yes and your no be no. If you say you're going to do something, do it. We just had a conversation the other day about, hey, we need to put a bow on some shit that we have going on around here before we start doing some more shit.
Right.
It's better than good, it's good enough, has been my mantra. Kimmy Pfeiffer, yep. I felt like something wanted me to hear that. Yep. Something, his name is the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. I'm going off the rails like a crazy train. Preach it. What's up, Raven? 6, Space Force will need plenty of duct tape. Agreed. First time I met my wife's mom, she asked me, what are your intentions towards my daughter? I said, I'm going to marry her. I like that. Hesitation has been my biggest downfall. Write it down. Make a matrix. I do this all the time. Every 60 to 90 days, I take myself to lunch with a blank legal pad and a pen. And I write down everything that's bothering me, everything that I'm thinking about doing, and then I start prioritizing. Things that are bothering me that I can't do anything about simply get crossed off the list. Learn to live with it, or don't think about it at all. If you can't do anything about it, just get rid of it. Things that are bothering me, but are like, it'll take 5 minutes to fix, I fix them the next day. I make a list of shit that I can do like right now. And I'm like, call this guy, answer that email, tell this person no, tell this person yes. And a lot of times your lingering issues are simply because you didn't tell somebody yes when you should have, or you didn't tell somebody no when you should have, right? Handle that shit the next day. And then you go further on the list, and it's like, these things are important, but they don't need to be handled right now. Schedule them or delegate them. Give them away to somebody else, or just do it later. And then these things are important, but they have to be handled right now. Like, if I don't handle this right now, I'm going to have problems. Good. Make a plan of attack, and then that's what you focus on. And that eliminates overwhelm, like for me anyway, real fast, real easily. And then the things that I've identified that I'm going to do, I got to do these things, I will flip the page, and I'll make a short paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences on each thing. Like, for example, I just saw my brother following Yeshua in the chat. And like, let's say I have resolved that I am going to just completely spitballing here. I'm going to plant an acre of tobacco with my brother following Yeshua. Okay. Be like, all right, here's how I'm going to do that. Step 1, I'm going to call him and we're going to coordinate. Step 2, I'm going to identify And these are all just like one sentence things. Step 2, identify where it's going to go. Step 3, till the soil, put up the fence. Step 4, order the seeds. Step 5, shalom, brother. Step 5, we're going to acquire the seeds and plant them. Step 6, we're going to till the garden, or rather tend the garden and research what the hell do you do with an acre of tobacco, right? Boom. There's my plan of action. Now I can implement that. But the thing is, you have to remove yourself from the situation sometimes so that you're not inundated, so that it's not crushing you right now, so that you can think objectively about it. You get outside of the problem. And I do this every 60 to 90 days, 2 to 3 months. I take myself to lunch, I sit in a booth, I tell the waitress, hey, I will let you know if I need you, otherwise leave me alone, and there's a $20 bill with your name on it, okay? Just leave me alone, and I'm gonna be here for a while, two, sometimes 3 hours. I take myself to lunch, and I prioritize my life. And this again gets back to the people suffer for a lack of vision. If you don't know what the hell you were trying to do with your life, I guarantee you are not going to accomplish it. If you don't know, you don't know, right? Step 1, how do I hit a target? PID, positive identification. What is the target? I don't know. And a lot of times you get lame ass excuses like, well, I'm going to be a better husband. Yeah, roger that. How? Well, I don't know. Well, how about we think about that? How are you going to be a better husband? How does your wife like to be loved? Where are you falling flat on your face right now? What could you be doing better? What are you doing that you shouldn't be doing that's actually making it worse? I don't know. Check in with yourself and write all that shit down. So, Bear, if you could work with any other influencer or content creator, who would it be? I'm already working with all the ones that I love. I don't know. Like, I don't think about things like that. I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that, because I don't make idols out of other people either. Like, we're not supposed to worship false idols. Like, it's almost becoming a prerequisite in order for you to become part of tribe that you gotta have a YouTube channel. So, and it's not, I said that tongue in cheek, but
right.
Like who?
Yeah.
Wrangler Star? Yeah, it'd be cool to hang out with Wrangler Star. I'm not going to lose my shit if I never hang out with Wrangler Star. That would be a good time. I would enjoy that.
Right.
Angry Prepper? I enjoyed meeting Angry in Kentucky and eating Angry Burgers. He's a great guy. Same thing with Reality Prepper. Great guy. I enjoyed meeting him. He's a good dude. Magic Prepper. He's a good dude. Who else? Chris from City Prepping. We talk. He's a good dude. Big Family Homestead. He's a good dude. We talk occasionally. Garantham. I don't know. Why would Garantham want to hang out with me? For why? He's the size of my thigh, for starters. Right? I'm sure he's a nice guy. I got nothing against him. Rex. Rex is a great dude. We talk on the regular. Love that brother. But I'm not putting any of these people on a pedestal. I don't wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh gosh, if Rex could just say nice shit about me, my day would be awesome. Come on. Negative. And so, and I'll tell you, honestly, my day goes better and my businesses do better when I focus on us rather than when I focus on other people. So it's, are there myriad opportunities out there? Absolutely. Are there people that I've met in passing and I like? Absolutely. Eric, Iraq veteran, 8888, great guy. I like him. Scott from Kentucky Ballistics, great guy. I like him. I haven't met Such. I think I like Such, but I haven't met him. Nothing fancy. I haven't met Nothing. I think I like him, but I haven't met him, Coda Boy, 32. I like Coda. He's a good dude. Carl at Tactical Rifleman is a great guy. Absolutely great guy. Alan K from Survival Dispatch and Alone is a great guy. T-Jack and Jason, great guys from Survival Dispatch. They're awesome people. I don't wake up and go to bed every day like, oh man, if I could just do some shit with these guys, my life would be so much better. Man, I got too much shit to do on my own. And honestly, Dudley will tell you, I get people reach out to me every damn day. Shalom, brother. Every damn day about, hey, Bear, you're awesome. We should do some stuff together. 95% of them I've never heard of. And the other 5% that if I could, if I had the room in my schedule that I would, I got too many irons in the fire. So, I've done some stuff with Forward Observer. They're good guys. They know their stuff, but it has to be, I can't do it every day. I don't have the bandwidth every day because we've got 4 businesses and 2 ministries to run, right?
I got a good, that leads into a good question.
Send it.
In general, is doubt ever a good thing or only a deterrent to anyone? I've been struggling with confidence in my own vision for my family. I don't want to fail, and I can't shake that mindset.
In general, is doubt ever a good decision? No.
Or is it just a distraction?
Genesis chapter 3. The enemy, and Brother Phelps brought this out at ATS, Arming the Saints, our men's retreat. And Phelps did a really good job. He did a really good job. He ended up preaching for like half an hour without even thinking he was gonna. It was great. It was beautiful to see. But Phelps brought this out. In Genesis chapter 3, the enemy sows the first seeds of doubt that there ever were. Did Yah really say that you would die if you ate that? Did he really say that? Is that really what's going to happen? No. If you eat it, you'll be like him and live forever. Doubt is of the enemy, man. Doubt is of the enemy. No. We are not given to a spirit of fear, and you have to remember that. There's one thing that we are commanded to fear, and that is Yahuwah our Elohim, the Lord our God. That's it. Everything else from the enemy. Now, should you be wise as a serpent and then gentle as a dove? Absolutely. Wise as a serpent and then gentle as a dove. Meaning, don't do dumb shit. So I would ask yourself logically, why am I doubting what's going on right here? And if it comes back to, I'm not good enough, I don't feel like I can do this, or a lot of times it comes down to, like, deep down inside, you're like, I don't believe the Father could bless me.
Right.
Me, this busted up piece of shit. Me, I don't believe that the Father could bless me with that. So I'm not gonna take that risk. I'm not gonna step into that because I don't really truly believe. I don't truly have the faith that on the other side of this trial, there's going to be blessing because of my obedience. Tell me that's not the enemy saying that shit to you, because you were bought and paid for with a price. You're so precious that the Father killed himself so that you could have a way to come home again. And if you are good at giving gifts to your children with your wicked heart, how much better the Father in heaven? Come on now. That's the enemy talking shit to you, and you let him, where instead you should be rebuking him the moment those thoughts come into your mind. I rebuke you in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yeah.
Flee. I command you to flee. GTFO.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove, but fear is of the enemy. The only thing we're commanded to fear is the Father. Everything else is from the enemy. James Lopez, Shalom Bear, I appreciate you. The Father is genuinely using you for good. Well, praise Yah. I am an example of the fact that he can use anybody that's a willing participant, because I have been in my life a busted up piece of shit. Absolute dog trash. And yet here I sit, redeemed, bought and paid for, and y'all should look up the Torah for redemption because it's really important. And I've been talking a lot about it on the Patreon Men's Group Monday. Redeemed. That doesn't mean you're a free man. That means you're a bondservant to the house of Elohim. You've been redeemed by the creator of the universe, made flesh for his purposes. So if he can use me, what's y'all's excuse? It's just simply that I figured out to be willing, where many people are just scared at the prospects of being willing. They don't truly understand. They don't truly believe that the Father could possibly love them enough to keep his word. And that's the dumbest shit ever, because he already loved you enough to kill himself for you. He's already proven to you that he loves you. And I don't mean in some like self-help prosperity gospel, put a big enough check in the plate and you're going to get your Lambo kind of horse shit. I mean like preordained from the beginning of the world. He knew you before you were born, and he already had a plan for you to come home again. He did that for you, and you're worried about how you're going to pay your mortgage. Bro, let the scales fall from your eyes. Yeah, I'm glad we're not talking about Ukraine right now. I'm glad we're talking about this instead.
Exactly.
Any advice for someone needing solid preparedness-minded friends? My friends are far too lazy and complacent. Absolutely, Pickle Weasel. Your friends suck. You need new ones.
Talk to people.
Do you utilize any prayer books? No. I read the Bible and I do what it says. I do not like guided study of the Bible at all. I don't like coursework with the Bible, because there's always an agenda to it, and if you notice, the parts that it has you read always brings things out of context, and that's completely unacceptable. Usam, really appreciate your input, Bear. Prayers from the UK. Bless you, brother. Any advice on buying an AR upper? If you're buying a complete upper, just get a complete upper. or don't, and use your, get a nickel boron bolt carrier group, extended ambidextrous charging handle, good to go. There's not a lot to it, man. Like, there's not a lot to it. People say buy this manufacturer, buy that manufacturer. There's only like 3 guys that are making them in the first place, and they're just all stamped with different people's names on them. The forgings come from the same 3 factories. After that, it's just milling. How well was it milled? And I'll tell you, like, I have some high-end uppers. I have some cheap uppers. And I have some middle-of-the-line uppers. And the Palmetto State Armory cold hammer forged uppers are ridiculous. Ridiculous when it comes to how good they are. So, what else we got?
Well, somebody said, please no Ukrainian tonight. I've watched entirely too much on that today. Info overload.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat when it comes to Ukrainian info overload.
Yeah.
I've been
like when COVID first started, and like you couldn't look at anything.
That's exactly
without
right.
Seeing something about
and
COVID.
It's not that it's not important, because it is. I talked about this at the opening of the live stream, and if you want to see what I had to say about that, just go back to the 5-minute mark and watch from there. Like, you can rewind these things. It's entirely possible. But it's not that it's not important. I've just been drinking from a fire hose today when it comes to open source intelligence.
Yeah.
And we also need to be mindful of the fact that initial reporting is always wrong. And so we're going to see exactly what happened today, tomorrow, maybe, right? And so somebody said, what polymer framed striker fired 9mm pistol should I get? Oh, you've been here a while. Bless you. Would love to get to know her more. Your wife, CM? Well, too bad. She's my wife.
No. They had a previous
okay.
comment, and that was your wife should do some videos by herself on your channel, even just shorts.
Yep.
And
don't worry about my wife's shorts.
I was shut up.
Yeah, she has a channel.
I do have a channel, but I don't make content, and
few and far between.
Yeah.
You're right on the money, Bear. My fiance took her own life 6 weeks ago. I am so sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that, D-Brand. But what you're putting out is the Father of the Most High knows this is what I need to hear. I am so sorry to hear that, brother. I am so sorry for your loss. Do you go to church every Sunday? Absolutely not. We keep the Sabbath. And I don't mean like the Big C Christian Church Sabbath. We keep Shabbat, sundown Friday through sundown Saturday, as the world calls it for us. So, but we still get together. We still fellowship. We still read the word together, and we midrash, and we hang out, and we, give praises and sing songs occasionally, and the kids play, and we share a meal, and that's what we do. You give or take communion. Well, we do the bread and the wine. We might do it a little bit differently than you do, because the bread and the wine existed before Yeshua, before Messiah, what most people refer to as the son of Zeus, Jesus, or Jesus, which was not his name. And that's it. We'll jump in that rabbit hole just for a minute. That's why a lot of Jews today don't even believe that Jesus Christ existed, because it never lived a man named Jesus Christ. There's no J in Hebrew, and there's nobody on the census that was taken by the Romans named Jesus. It wasn't his name. His name was Yeshua, or Yahusha, or Yehoshua of Nazareth. And so, yeah, it's the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, we do the bread and the wine, but there's the hamotzi, the blessing over the bread. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. And the Kiddush, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam hor paracha gafen. Or, blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. And this has happened since before Yeshua walked the face of the earth. Just like baptism was happening before Yeshua walked the face of the earth. It's called a mitzvah. I'm sorry, a mikvah. A mitzvah is a good work. A mikvah is a cleansing. So, anywho, the hamotzi and the kiddush, the blessings over the bread and the wine. And yes, we do that, and we take it in light of Mashiach, Messiah, and the Last Supper, which, by the way, was the Passover. So what would Jesus do? He'd keep the Torah and keep the feasts and observe the Passover. He would not go to church on Sunday morning for a sunrise ritual named after a Babylonian fertility goddess, aka Ishtar or Easter. But you guys can whore with whatever Babylon you're into. This is America, and it is your right to worship however you see fit, but I don't do that shit because it's not in the Bible. So. Mm-hmm. And the hamotzi is usually sang. I'm not much of a singer. No. So, how much Hebrew do you know and understand? Where did you learn? I know a little bit, and the Hebrew way of learning is by doing. So that's how I learned, by doing. Just mess up all the words, and then somebody that knows more than you will be like, no.
That's not right.
Nope, good try, but this is how you do it. So doesn't the New Testament and the old laws, why follow them now? Oh, fuck, here we go.
Just ignore it.
Well, it's backwards Basson. He's been a good follower for a long time, and so suffice it to say, the answer to that is no. No, it does not. I've got 100 videos on this. I would recommend that whatever verse you think has done away with the Old Testament law and the New Testament, that you put barren dependent, and then, Colossians 2 or Galatians 5 or whatever. Yes, I know, backwards Basson. That's why I'm not losing my shit talking to you. I know it's a legit question. I've answered this time and time and time again. Again, I believe you're on Patreon. I would encourage you to go watch the Man of Elohim video that I put up 2 days ago. Go watch that. But the long and short is the verse that people will point to at that is Colossians 2:14. It was nailed to the cross. The problem with that is that's not what it says. What it says is the doctrines and dogmas of men were nailed to the stake. By the way, they didn't start crucifying people on crosses until about 200 AD. They crucified them on stakes or poles in the ground. The cross is a holdover of paganism as well, but we don't need to jump into that rabbit hole now because I'm probably going to piss off the 1,000 people that are here.
Carved images.
Graven images, that's exactly right.
Idols.
Yeah, it's a whole nother story. But whatever. Wherever you are in that walk, I'm not condemning you.
No.
I'm just telling you that
We have a
Yeshua
strong
was
conviction about that.
very likely crucified with his hands over his head, not out to the side. But whatever floats your boat. This is the Estados Unidos, the United States of America. You're welcome to worship and think however you see fit. What you're not welcome to do is talk shit in my house. So, that being said, Colossians 2:14. What was nailed to the stake was the doctrines and dogmas of men, which was the whole thing that Yeshua was railing against the Pharisees about. He says over and over again, you hypocrites, you tithe the cumin and the mint and the rue, but you ignored the weightier matter of the Torah, including righteousness and right ruling. You should have done both. If you love me, John 15, verses 9 and 10, if you love me, keep my commands as I have kept my Father's commands, the Torah. It's a whole thing, man. Go watch that video, The Man of Elohim, on Patreon. It'll clarify a lot of your questions. And then people will say, well, but Paul said, like, oh, you're going to build your modern Christian doctrine on what Paul said. By the way, his name was Shaul of Tarsus, and he was a Pharisee. So you're worried about being legalistic, but you're taking the teachings of a Pharisee? Learn more Bible before you argue with me. Thanks, Christian Help. And I want to be clear on this too. I'm willing to be rebuked by people that know more than me or know as much as me, but I am not willing to be rebuked by people that don't know shit when it comes to the word. So,
Not to beat a dead horse, but any words on backsliding in faith or removing oneself from that behavior?
backsliding in faith, teshuvah, repent, put your face on the ground. Whether
Right.
you're kneeling or you're laying flat on the ground as low as you can get, lower than whale shit in the presence of the creator of the universe, and confess your sins and teshuvah, turn from it. Also, you're supposed to confess your sins to your brothers. So if you're struggling with it, bring it for accountability reasons. Bring it to somebody else and go, hey, man, I'm having a problem with this. I really need prayer with this. There you go, the end. And stop. And what happens if I stop for 93 days and then we'll say it's pornography and I haven't looked at porn in 93 days and then I mess up and, okay, you made a mistake. You sinned. Confess your sins and teshuvah and don't do that shit again. There you go. But under the Torah, we can be killed. Yes, Yeshua removed the penalty of death from the Torah, which is the curse of the Torah. But he didn't remove the blessings from the Torah. And if you go read Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26, if you abuse the fact that Yeshua covered your ass for your transgressions, your lawlessness, your sin, 1 John 3, verse 4, and you abuse that, how much more shall he deserve who has trampled the Son of Elohim underfoot and denied the Spirit of grace? You get 40 times, 100 times, infinity times the ass whipping under the Torah that you deserved from Yeshua when you abuse his sacrifice and his grace. And so you don't knowingly do bad stuff. You also are a man or a woman, presumably. There's only two genders, by the way, male and female. He created them. And if you mess up, you confess your sins to your brothers and to your Creator. And you beg forgiveness. And your Father is long-suffering and merciful. And also, oh, by the way, you think you surprised him with your bullshit? You think he was sitting up there going, damn it, Tony messed up again. Son of a bitch, Tony. Yeah, because he didn't know. You caught him. You got one over on him. Yeah, he knows. He knows your inward parts. He knows your heart. He knows where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Were you given your name, your bear name by Big Bear, or you just bear adjacent? I always wondered if Bear Independent was a bear name or coincidence. Oh, Big Bear, I have nothing to do with those people at all. I even forget his name. There's some other personality.
No, he's just big and bearish, and so he's always been bear.
Glock 316, you were punching way above my weight class, and I know it when the Onion Ninjas show up. Bless you and Hami. Bless you, Glock. Thank you. But people are worried about his drinking and smoking. Yeah, Tony. Hey, here's the thing, man. And I've addressed this 1,000 times. I've addressed this 1,000 times on camera. When people are like, you call yourself a man of God and you're drinking and smoking. Well, first of all, I don't call myself a man of God. Mm-hmm. You do. So right. That's on you. You're putting your expectation on me, not the other way around. And second of all, if you have seen the shit I have done in my life, the fact that I'm sitting up here having a cigar and drinking a glass of wine with the woman that I love, as compared to all the other ridiculous things that I have done in my life.
Mm-hmm. When you're not doing it because you're addicted.
Yeah, you ought to frankly watch your mouth. That's all. Mm-hmm. And there's biblical instruction for this. Why are you looking for the speck in your brother's eye rather than the plank in your own? Shalom to Borosaurus Rex. What's up, brother? We were bragging on you earlier. Sanctified Supply Co. said, question, if you sinned years ago and have repented and forsaken that sin and confessed to the Father, do you still need to confess to a brother? Unless it's directly on your heart, if you're carrying that burden, right, then my answer to that is no, you do not. But if it's coming up over and over again, man, like you're carrying that burden, here's the thing. When you've confessed that sin, right, and you've been made new, you've dedicated your life to the Father, you've been baptized, you've turned over your soul back into his hands. There's only two entities in the world that care about who you were. One is you, the other is the enemy. That's it. That's it. The Father loves you, and you are made clean in his eyes. You are his son or his daughter now. You are back in his presence. And so sometimes you got to tell the enemy to go pound sand. We scream sometimes around here, F you, Satan. Like, and I mean like on the regular. Just like yell it at the sky. Yep, just yell it at the sky. Phytosaurus, feel the spirit so strongly here. Thank you, Bear family, for real fellowship and dedication to him. Praise the Father, man. Subscribed, happy to see Hebrew Roots Preparedness. Thank you, Dan. So if the Spirit is putting it on your heart that you need to turn this over again to the Father, then do so. Mm-hmm. But if you're like, did I check all the boxes to be forgiven? I wouldn't worry about that, brother. I wouldn't worry about that. If you're actively in the grip of sin now, then you need to confess that to your brothers, your people around you, and you need to confess that to your Creator and ask him to heal you and forgive you. But if it's over and done with and you've already repented of that and given it away, then that belongs to the Father. Right. Like I said, the only people who care about that is you and the enemy. Mm-hmm. But that's the Father's shit now. That's not your shit. Quit going back to it like a dog returning to his vomit. Like, leave it alone. It's not your shit anymore. It's not for you to worry about anymore. It doesn't even exist. It is as far removed from you as the East is from the West. Let it be. Yep. Is that like mutual confession? I don't know. I don't know what mutual confession is. The church that I grew up in didn't have that thing. So I don't know. But I do know that our brothers are supposed to help us bear our burdens, and that a friend is there in good times and bad, but a brother is built for adversity. And so if you're in the grips of adversity, that's why you have brothers. That's what they're for, to help build you up and lift you up. And sometimes go, hey man, like we have a phrase around here that we joke about all the time. Love your butt.
Yep.
Love you, but you're stepping on your poncho. You're messing up. And it's gotten to the point now where a simple love your butt is usually enough. Oh, that's all you got to say. Hey man, that thing right there, yeah, love
Yeah.
your butt. Yeah, roger that. Okay, it's gotten to that point where a rebuke isn't even necessary. It's like a pre-rebuke. Yeah, love your butt. Copy.
Somebody said, so much the word brings me to tears, yet I still fear of letting go. Why do I feel this? We were just talking about this. Like, you are to fear Yahuwah, your Elohim. And that's it.
Fear of
So,
letting go.
yeah. So if you've turned that stuff over to him, if you've repented of that, then you're good. Like, that is what he asks of you. So you have no need to fear.
What are you afraid of losing when you
Right.
give that up? That again comes back to these core beliefs of I'm not good enough. What does the Father actually have waiting for me on the other side of this fear that I'm experiencing? And I'm telling
Right.
you, it's a wild ride, but it's more than you could ever believe possible. More than you could ever believe possible. And you think he forgot about you? He is waiting for you with open arms for you to teshuva, which literally means to turn back to him and go, hey, Dad, I messed up, but I'm back. This
Yeah.
is the whole parable of the prodigal son, man. It's the whole point of the prodigal son. Yeah, I left the house and I squandered my inheritance and I messed up, but I want to come back. If I could just be a servant in your house. No, you're more than a servant. You have another inheritance. You have the best robes. You sit at the best part of the table. You eat the best food, and I rejoice in the fact that you've returned to me. Yeah. What are you so afraid of? And it comes down to comfortability. Comfortability and disbelief. You disbelieve that the Father could love you more than you think possible. And your disobedience, oftentimes, and your willful disobedience or delayed disobedience, or delayed obedience, which is disobedience. Thank you, Sanctified Supply Co. for that. Your delayed obedience, which is disobedience, is the reason that you're not experiencing the abundance of his provision and blessing. And so you don't believe that it can be good or it could be better on the other side of this teshuva, this turning. And so you don't turn, and then you continue to wallow in your own shit, wondering why I don't have a fullness of a relationship with the Father. It's like because you didn't do what he told you to do, and you're not willing to step out in faith and go, here I am, all of me. You made me. I'm yours. Use me. Let me be your hands and feet. Yes, I am absolutely, earmuffs, kids, a fucked up piece of shit, but I am yours. And I want to be remade new in your name, to be the thing that you made me to fearfully and wonderfully be for your purposes, not for mine. And I can't do it anymore on my own. So take me, use me, make me what I'm supposed to be. You do that, you pray that, and then when he says jump, you say, yes, sir, how high? Oh, you won't even have time to make comments on live streams anymore. You're going to be so overcome with blessings, your head's going to spin.
Someone asked, how does someone go about being baptized without having an actual church?
Take some brothers or sisters or family that you love and find a body of living water, a stream or a lake or a creek or
And
a
that may
pond.
just be you and your husband.
Yep.
Or husband and wife. Like,
Yep.
y'all can baptize each other. Like, you don't have to have a pastor. Be strong enough in your faith and with each other.
Well, especially if you're a wife, your husband is the priest of your home. That's who should be baptizing you. Husbands should be baptizing their wives. And then the question really is, why are you being baptized? Is it a confession of love for the Master, Yeshua? Is it to reintroduce yourself to the Father? Is it for remission of sins, teshuva, to turn from your wicked ways? All of which are acceptable. It could be all of the above, all of the above. And then you are fully immersed under the water. Then you come back up and you're made new. All that shit that you were hanging on to is gone. All that belongs to the Father now. And he don't care about it anymore. It's not yours anymore. Can one baptize oneself? Frank Puzzleman, I would say yes. I would say
If you
yes.
have the conviction, like whatever that conviction is, if you feel convicted to have somebody else that you know baptize you, have that person baptize you. If you just feel convicted and you're all alone, but you have the conviction, then I think do it yourself. Like,
So Dustin Pribble said, John the Baptist asked Jesus to baptize him, and Jesus reminded him that it's not a big to-do. Incorrect. Let me rebuke you in love, brother. Yeshua said to Yochanan, John the Baptist, you baptize me, John baptized Yeshua, to fulfill all righteousness. And John says, I'm not qualified to touch your sandal strap, homie. And Yeshua says, no, you do it to fulfill all righteousness. Now, Yeshua is righteous. Luke 1 verse 6, blamelessly walking in the commands of Yah. That's what Yeshua did. So how is John baptizing Yeshua going to fulfill all righteousness? And the answer is earlier in John chapter 1. John was commanded by Yah, the Lord our God, Yahuwah our Elohim, to go to the Jordan River and to baptize to find the Savior of the world. And righteousness is blamelessly walking in the commands of Yah. And so John had been baptizing everybody that showed up to get baptized. And so John's job was to baptize to find the Mashiach, to find the Messiah. And so Yeshua says, you baptize me to fulfill your righteousness, to fulfill you blamelessly walking in the command that the Father has given you. As a good job done, well done, good and faithful servant. Good job, son. You baptize me to fulfill all righteousness. As the bow on you following the Father's command that you come here and do this. It's not that it wasn't a big deal. It's a huge deal. But the reason John baptizes Yeshua and not the other way around is that John is blessed because of his obedience to do the crazy thing the Father told him to do. That's what it means, to fulfill all righteousness. So, do you believe that John the Baptist is Elijah? No, he comes in the spirit of Elijah. Elijah was taken up in a whirlwind by Yah, and he leaves his mantle for Elisha, who receives a double portion of his spirit. He was, however, John was, because his father worked in the temple, John was wearing the belt of Elijah, but he was not Elijah. In fact, he's asked by the Pharisees, are you the Mashiach? Nope. Are you Elijah, Eliyahu? Nope. Well, then who the hell are you? I'm Yochanan, and I'm baptizing people. Why? Because Yah said so. Oh, fulfill all righteousness. So I believe the next time, so you see Elijah again in the New Testament at the Transfiguration, I believe it's Matthew 18, on the mountain when Yeshua is transfigured and he's pure white light. He's up there with Peter and several of the other brethren, and Yeshua is transfigured, and with him is Moshe, Moses, and Eliyahu, Elijah. And so on the mountain, you have the completion of the Torah, Moshe, the prophets, Eliyahu, Elijah, and the resurrection, Yeshua. And I think, me personally, this is not what the Bible says, but this is what I think. I think the two witnesses, well, before we even get to the two witnesses, I think the two angels at Yeshua's tomb, the two men of white light, were Moshe and Eliyahu, Moshe and Elijah, who already had demonstrated that they were there in the time of need to comfort Yeshua. I think the two angels at the tomb of Jesus, of Yeshua, were Moshe and Eliyahu, Moses and Elijah. And I think the two witnesses in Revelation are Moshe and Elijah, heralding the coming, just like they did in the Torah and in the prophets, heralding the coming of the king and priest, Yeshua HaMashiach, in the end of days. That's what I think. Can't prove it, but that's what I think. Man, it's cold and windy.
I know, the wind picked up.
Yep.
And I'm freezing.
I got a lot of would-be ice in my beard. My beard is wet from talking. I think there's some ice. I don't know if y'all can see it. Condensation. Do you believe in birth control among married couples? I think you need to get on your knees and talk to the Father about that.
Yeah. We're supposed to procreate. And I think, yeah. I don't know.
Yah's will be done.
Right.
Yah's will be done. And if a spirit is telling you to do something that's against the Torah, that's not the Holy Spirit.
Had 20 babies.
Sounds good to me. Y'all heard it here. Sounds good to me. My husband was hurt by many churches and now he has lost faith. How do I help him as his wife? You get him a brand new copy of the scriptures and you sit down with him and you start in Genesis 1:1 and Matthew 1:1 and you just read the damn book and do what it says.
And talk about life and seeing
talk
him
about life.
in your life.
Yeah, and why does this
Being
hurt?
a witness.
What are you pissed off about? Yeah, it was bullshit when the pastor said this and did this thing. And
right.
Yeah, and you should pray for him, absolutely. But you should also meet people where they are at. You know, Yeshua says, who amongst you, if you had a donkey in the ditch, wouldn't pull it out on the Sabbath, right? So it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, which is a different conversation. But you don't stand there and pray over the donkey hoping it's going to pop out the ditch. You pull the damn donkey out of the ditch, right? There's a lot of people who are sitting around praying for blessings on their couch that they never get off of. That's not how life works. You pray for the strength to do the things the Father has put in front of you, and then you go and do it. Then you go and do it. And so, yeah, I would meet him right where he's at. I'd have a conversation with him. Hey, I love you, and I love the Father, and you're all messed up, and let's see if we can fix that. And I want to read the Word with you. And he's gonna have some type of reaction to that. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, probably all of the above. Cool. Meet them right where they're at. And start talking. Just start having a conversation. So, what's up over the bus? Refuge in West Virginia. Not currently. If you got enough people to do that, email sales@refugetraining.com. Let's see. Come to Alaska. Nah, I'm good. Can you please address this? I used to swear at the adversary until I read that even Michael, for fear of scathing accusations, said the Lord rebuke thee. So that's all I dare say now.
Rebuke thee.
The Lord rebuke thee. Where did you read that? For fear of scathing accusations, said the Lord rebuke thee. Where did you read that? Yeah. We rebuke stuff all the time in the name of Yeshua. I also tell Satan how I feel about him, just like I tell everybody else how I feel about him.
Right. Yeah. You piss us off. We're the kind of people that let you know.
You're going to know. I get all the time people like, are you mad at me? I'm like, if I'm mad at you, you're going to know it.
Right.
I might be pissed off, but not at you. Or I might just be, I have RBF so bad too. I have resting bitch face bad. People all the time are like, "What are you upset about?" Like, I wasn't until you started asking questions. So, good evening. When do y'all start planning for spring up there? Just wondering. No, caps are good, cowboy. That's how we know. But
Soon, I've got a greenhouse I'm waiting to put up for my seedlings, but ice keeps happening.
what's up, Hacks man? Got my adventure kit today. Really happy with it. Looking forward to the canine kit. I appreciate that, Hacks man. Hey, I think I told you to email me. We'll get you a canine kit sent out to you. Just email sales@refugemedical.com and we got you, bro. Glad to hear that. Jude 1 verse 9. Yeah. The Lord rebuked thee. Okay, cool. So I guess we're just supposed to not speak otherwise?
Oh, like we shouldn't say F you, Satan.
Well, 2 John 2 says, let your words be as Elohim's words.
Right.
Jude 1 verse 9. But Michael, the chief messenger, in contending with the devil when he disputed about the body of Moshe, presumed not to bring against him a blasphemous accusation, but said, Yahweh will rebuke you. Okay. What's the issue with a blasphemous accusation? How is it blasphemous if I remind the enemy of the world that he's an asshole? So, is he not? Yeshua tells him that he's a murderer and a liar and the devil of old. So, I think that qualifies as asshole. I don't know. You go where you feel led. I'm good with it. So, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. What's up, Hemaji? Somebody said the canine kit, is that for dogs? Yeah. Well, it's actually that's
handlers.
that's what canine means, and it's for dog handlers. It's not for the dog. The dog doesn't wear it. It goes on the armor or web gear of the canine handler, not on the dog, because the dog needs to maintain agility and dexterity. But all right, y'all, what else we got? We're losing steam.
I know. Oh, God. Dude, I love your bluntness. That's what we got.
Who said that?
Moose Run Coffee.
Oh. Slow, Moose Run. Dude, I love your bluntness. I don't have another move when it comes to using my words. Like, that's all I have. Ask my wife. Even when I'm trying to, like, be nice, I'm like, I love you a lot. You look great naked. She's like, can we, like, maybe use some other words? I'm like, that's all the words I got. That's all I got. Like, or she's like, you need to go talk to that person. I'm like, uh-huh. And she's like, but use good words. I'm like, I don't have any of those. I have the, I was going to punch you in the throat, but instead my wife said use words. We talked about this at men's retreat. Like, I'm actually working on trying to be more compassionate because usually I'm like a throat punch first, bless you, brother, later kind of guy. But I'm trying to be more compassionate. But blunt is something that I just am. I don't have... I did corporate speak and diplo speak for a long time. I refuse to do it anymore. And even then, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I was that person that would just piss in everybody's Cheerios at the, contract award meetings and, pre-planning meetings and all that, like just accountability meetings. I hated that stuff. And so, yeah, I pissed in everybody's Cheerios. I say the words that come to my mouth. And most of the time, if people don't like that, they're probably trying to hide something. I mean, does canine have first aid stuff for dogs, which would be different than for humans? Yeah, Daniel Roundabouts, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's specifically for canines. That's what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think first aid, CPR, trauma care licenses are important to maintain? I understand the procedures. As the years go on, the classes get more repetitive, and my notebooks fill up with the same stuff. It depends on what your job is, Vault 13. All that stuff, so CPR, AED, and Stop the Bleed is all covered under Good Samaritan Act. So if you're just a civilian trying to maintain accreditation and licenses, that's probably a waste of your time. Not every year. I do think you do need to re-up occasionally, but not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a professional, you and I both know you got to keep those certs up. So I am almost done getting K9 ready to launch next week, said Stumps, Roots, and Shoots. Yep. Do you think a great awakening is going to happen in this nation? I think it is, but you're looking for the wrong great awakening. You're looking for a political solution to a spiritual problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. There is a great awakening happening right now, but most people are too stupid or too willfully ignorant to pay attention to it. It's a prophesied great awakening. It's the fullness of belief, a testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach, and a keeping of the commands. You can find it in 1 Peter. You can find it in Titus. You can find it in Revelation. You can find it in the book of Acts. You can find it in all of Shaul's epistles. You can find it all over the New Testament. It is a prophesied great awakening and is taking place right now. However, a great awakening from a political standpoint in the country, who cares? They're the same assholes on two slightly different teams. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about them. That's it. Somebody hit him faster than I did. Who got him?
Me.
Way to go, babe.
Thanks. What was the Patreon video about starting a business?
Hold on. Somebody said, thou shalt not kill. We don't want wars. Kitsy Witty, read your Bible. It's not thou shalt not kill. It's thou shalt not murder. Killing is all throughout the Bible, including righteous killings. Murder is a condition of the heart. There is no thou shalt not kill in the Bible. There's thou shalt not murder. And if you're reading a Bible that says thou shalt not kill, you have an absolutely horrendous translation of the Bible. The original Hebrew is thou shalt not murder. Okay? Cool. What was that? What were you saying, babe?
What?
I don't know.
Oh.
You said something and I said, hold on.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Would the K9 units qualify for HSA? We believe so. We're working on that.
Yeah, it requires a little bit more information.
What would you add to the bare fact to amplify capability for multi-hit wounds? I wouldn't. It's it's an individual first aid kit.
Yeah.
I'd look at maybe add one more thing of compressed gauze, maybe add a SWAT T, maybe add a second pair of chest seals, but you're gonna run out of room in that kit real fast.
Yeah. Or buy a pack.
Or buy a public access kit. Yep. Bear, you mentioned Dave Ramsey sometimes, but do you recommend we skip baby steps forward 5, for example, stop for a 1K to pay off the house faster? Yeah, I have zero trust in the financial system right now versus somebody like Dave or Robert Kiyosaki that does. I don't. Now, I'll say this. They have a higher net worth than I do. I'll also say this. I have no debt and I have bootstrapped businesses to 7 figures, and they haven't. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, his entire thing is based on debt. And he has a bunch of money, air quote, but I don't trust the debt system anymore. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing, a debtor is a slave to his debt. Proverbs 22, verse 7, I believe it is. The rich rule over the poor, and a debtor is a slave to their debt. So Robert Kiyosaki's whole thing is I spend the bank's credit instead of my money. Okay, roger that. To do what? To get more credit from the bank, to spend more of the bank's money, to make more money. All right, cool. There's other ways to make money than being a whore with the system while enslaved to debt. So I just kind of take that, throw it right out the window. As far as 401k is concerned, I think putting money into savings, taking your 15% and setting it aside for savings, is not necessarily a bad idea. In fact, I think if you have the emergency fund and you've paid off your debt and you're just working off on the house, then putting 15% towards retirement is a great idea. How you do that, I would do it in such a way that it's not directly tied to the markets. And now this is me speaking, and I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not Dave Ramsey. He knows more about this stuff than I do, comma, I don't trust the markets. I think there's going to be a crash. I don't think we are in a position to where we can sustain what we have going on for very long at all. I was just reading earlier today, the Fed is completely out of moves, man. Completely out of moves. Can you be forgiven for abortion? Absolutely. You just need to pray to the Father and ask him to take that from you, Patty. Absolutely. Should we pull money out of bank now? Depends on how much money you have. I think having $5,000 worth of cash laying around so you can GTFO is a great idea. I think having silver is a great idea, small denomination silver. I think if you have a bunch of money, then large denomination gold and even small denomination gold makes sense for preservation of wealth, not for monetary use. It's not currency, it's preservation of wealth because it never goes to zero. I think buying land is a great move right now because it never goes to zero. But as far as having a bunch of ones and zeros on a bank's hard drive somewhere and calling it money, I think that's the dumbest shit in the world. So. And don't even start me on crypto. If you can't touch it, it's not money. I mean, hell, fiat currency you can touch, and it's barely money. The only reason it's money is because we've all agreed that it's money, but it has no inherent value. So,
Crypto is stupid.
give me 3 to 5 food items to prep now. Dude, you're not even trying.
Right.
I don't know what you eat. I don't know what food allergies you have.
Rice, wheat, beans,
Yeah, corn,
corn,
dried pasta. Get some cooking oil, get salt, get spices, get
water.
lots of water. Self-rising flour is good to go. Regular flour and yeast is good to go. All of your just add water mixes like instant pancake mix and all of that, yada, yada, yada. Ramen lasts for on a shelf for a year. All your canned goods, lots of protein, whether it's pressure canned or canned at a store, coffee, instant milk, sugar. You can get 50 pounds of sugar and 50 pounds of salt in a bucket. So sugar and salt, bucket of honey. You can get 70 pounds of honey in one bucket. It is abysmal to move one of those.
Kitsy witty chocolate does not last long.
So, yeah, there you go. How's that? That was like 20 things. Chest rig for pistol. Could be cool for you. Nobody's going to want to go to the range with you because I don't want that barrel pointed right at me when I'm standing next to you. I'm not a fan. I know Nothing Fancy rocks the chest rig for the pistol all the time, but he's by himself or with a cameraman in the Utah desert all the time. If we're going to go do a thing, I don't want your friggin' loaded 9mm pointed at me. So, do you even Berkey Bear? Nope, only got 3 of them. Two hours long. I appreciate y'all. I'm done.
Yeah.
Promo code
Frozen.
BearNation at refugemedical.com gets you free shipping on everything. I appreciate you guys for supporting the show. Thank you for
Thank y'all
supporting
for
our
being
small
here.
businesses. Thank you for being here. Great questions this evening. You guys are awesome. I got ice in my beard, and
I don't even know. Let me see what temperature it is.
and listen. Here's the deal. All this stuff about Ukraine and all this stuff that's going on. Is it significant? Absolutely. Should we be afraid of it? No. We are not given to a spirit of fear. We fear nothing but the Lord our God, Yahweh our Elohim, and everything else is a distraction from the enemy. If you're not there under fire right now, quit hyperventilating and do shit that matters. All right? So, with that, I appreciate y'all. Have a blessed evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the intelligence brief.
Yeah, it's 16 degrees.
It's 16 degrees and windy. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.